When I say this tip changed my life, it's not an exaggeration. Although I've been crocheting on and off for, I'd say, over 30 years, I didn't learn this until about 4 or 5 years ago. Now, this was back before I had my channel and I was recently coming back to crochet. I came across a YouTube video. And it really wasn't even a tip video. It was on Ophelia Talks, and she was just chatting as she was adding her foundation border around her finished blanket. And she mentioned how she doesn't really pay attention to the stitch count so much, but more on if it's keeping her blanket nice and flat. I learned the key to getting crochet projects to stay nice and flat is really quite simple. Use increases to relax the stitches and decreases to pull them in. And this absolutely blew me away because before that I had been so legalistic with my stitches, regardless of how it looked. And for her to say this, it just was so freeing and I would say empowering. For example, right now, the video I thought I was going to be sharing this weekend was a companion to the video I shared last week on a lattice join for granny squares. And this weekend I wanted to show you how you could apply it to a hexagon. But it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be because it's not maintaining its shape. It's not staying nice and flat. It's getting a little bit wonky. And I'm dealing with a lot of trial and error with that. So I thought it was a good time to talk about it here because I do have a lot of new crocheters that are visiting the channel. One of the most common issues that I see in the comments every week is tension issues. Why is my square cupping on me? Why is it curling up? Or why are my edges so wavy? What's going on? What am I doing wrong? Well, actually, you're probably not doing anything wrong. The first advice I usually give is to either go up or down on your hook size. But if you find that the hook size isn't working, then the next step is to play with your stitches. The granny square is a great example of this. Both of these are patterns that you'll find for a granny square, but they are clearly different, right? This one here has 3 chains in the corners with a chain 1 space in between the clusters, where this one has 2 chains in the corner and no chain 1 spaces between the clusters. So you may find with your hook, your yarn, and your tension style that this is curling up on you and feeling really tight. And the simple fix to that is to add more chains. You can first try to add an extra chain in your corners, or if it's still curling up on you, you can add that extra chain in between your clusters. You're just going to keep playing with that until it starts laying nice and flat for you. Now on the other side, if you're working this pattern, you may find that it's really gappy, it's actually kind of getting wavy on you, and you just don't like the look and feel of it. It's just too flimsy. In that case, you would do the opposite thing. You would go in and you would omit those chains. You'd first take it down from 3 chains to 2, see how that looks, and if it's still not feeling right, then you could then start omitting those chains in between your clusters. The point here is that chains are a great way to troubleshoot your project. And here's an example with hexagons. All 3 of these have a written pattern that I found on the internet, but they are all quite different, right? Here you can see that it's getting kind of loose, a little bit distorted. This one's a bit better, and this one's really tight. The only difference between these 2 are the chains in the corners. This one has chain 2 for the corners, where this one has chain 1 for the corners. Simple tweak, big difference. And for this one here, that's even tighter, for the very last round, instead of having 6 double crochets in the corners, this one only has 4. That simple little tweak makes such a difference. So if you're a beginner and this seems a little bit overwhelming to you or you haven't experienced it yet, please save this video because you are going to come across this issue. We all do. Your experience with a pattern can be very different from the designer. Even if you're using the same weight of yarn and crochet hook size, the brand of the yarn is going to make a difference, the hook is going to make a difference, and the natural tension of the crocheter is going to make a big difference. If you need to add an extra double crochet here or take a single crochet away there, these little tweaks will help to flatten out your work and make it look beautiful. So having said all that, I'm going to get back to figuring this out and hopefully have a video for you about this very soon. But in the meantime, I really think you're going to like this other video about game changers, where I talk more about the edging like I was talking about at the beginning of this video, plus some other things that have really affected my crochet journey in a positive way. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there.